Hello, beautifuls. I'm here to do the review for Woman King. Okay. First of all, let me just say I really love the movie. Right. I went to go see it two times. I went to go see it the first time just to see it. I wanted to see the movie before I let my daughter see it. Right. Because I did not want my daughter to go and to see a movie where black women were going to be warring with white males. Like I just didn't want that in my daughter's subconscious mind. I did not want her to be I just I don't like how that looks. I don't like the pinning of black women against white males. I just don't like it. So I wanted to go and see the movie and make sure that was not happening, right? I know that a lot of dark skinned women did not had opposed the movie because of the warrior or dark skinned black women looking like fighters or looking like aggressive or looking masculine, right? And Viola Davis did not look masculine to me. She looked fine as fuck. But um I understood that, right? But I also have done enough work in studying who black women were to understand that black women um have historically been warriors, right? Um and it was not about them being dark skinned or light skinned. In general, black women have the ability to be fierce protectors and warriors if need be. And they were when it was only us. And then of course the story is based on um some kind of factual history, right? And before I watched the movie, I did not know anything about the Dahomey people. I didn't know anything about the Dahomey tribe. I didn't know anything about that kind of existence, right? I truly thought that the Amazons were that the Amazons were kind of most mythology I find truth in, but I thought that the Amazons was like some kind of mythology thing, right? I didn't know that it was actual black women who were out warring with niggles. Damn it. Like physically warring with niggles. I really appreciated how the movie directly said who black women's enemy was. Like I loved it. I loved how, because I really get tired of black women being pinned against white males when before she can even contend with white males patriarchy, black males have already destroyed her. Like, right? So I don't like for us to skip all over. I don't like for us to skip all over the fact that black males sold their mothers and white males bought them. Okay, if you're going to be selling humans and I am trying to get somewhere, I'm trying to accomplish something in this realm, and I'm not letting up on white males. I'm just saying that if I had to sit down and look at it as a black woman and I had to weigh out, I guess the lesser of two evils, right? In my mind, the white males would be lesser because he had no obligation to black women, right? And he had and he never was that fucking wicked, right? He never was that fucking wicked. Like, I know that we like to say that white males are wicked, and they are, right? They be doing some wicked shit. But and throughout history, only black males sold their mothers. That's it. That's it. And when we look throughout history and we look at the grotesqueness of males, right? The only time we find that males literally sold out their women, their mothers, and I love how the movie pointed out that they were selling their mothers. Like literally they were selling their mothers, right? So I like how the movie pointed out that black males literally sold their mothers. And that was in the Dahomey tribe, but I know and we know over here historically that black males were selling out black women and selling black women as soon as they was able to sell them, right? As soon as they took over black women's matriarchy, And I just want to say this again here, loud and clear, so that everybody knows wherever you see me at, I am always going to be opposing the thought that black males are patriarchs. Like wherever I'm at, wherever I'm at, if I ever hear someone says that black males are patriarchs, I'm opposing it, and I'm opposing it fiercely. And I'm just, going to do a short history lesson on the fact that when black males came into power, the only person that he had to destroy was his own mother. White males had to contend with the whole world of males to get where they are, right? To get where they are today, they had to contend with the whole world of males. Any male that wanted smoke, they had it. Like let's duel, right? Let's war, right? And black women in most cases were affected negatively due to those warring. But the point is, they decided to war with males. And if there was historical evidence of them warring with women, they didn't war with their fucking mothers, okay? They didn't war with the women who created them, right? Um, and that's the same thing for now, the Asians. Now they are, warring with white males. They going over to Africa and warring with black males, even though it's not a physical war, they're still warring with males. So in order for males to get on top, he has to take out the man that's on top, right? So if Chinese ever, if the Chinese ever have a rule, they had to take out white men, right? They had to destroy white men. In order for white men to conquer the whole world, he had to go around in the world and see, the ways that males ran societies, and then he had to destroy the man, right? He had to contend with the men. Well, black males, in order to get into power, they never did that, right? They contended with their mothers. They contended with women, and they contended with women who had a soft spot for them, right? Because black women can be vicious, right? When we are in, when we are in our darkness, right? And the video I made yesterday, it was a bit on the dark side, right? I was in my darkness, where it was really, I don't give a fuck about black males having to die for me to live, right? And when we're in that kind of darkness, we're pretty vicious. We're pretty fucking cold, and we're pretty fucking cutthroat. And when it came to her son, though, she did not want to be that way. And as a result, he was able to trample her and you know kill most of the mothers, rape some of the mothers of sons, and kill our daughters, right? And harm our daughters and make them slaves. That's what he did, right? So he contended with women, and that makes him the most bitch ass male in society in history, right? The fact that black males gain their power by destroying the women, that just makes him the most bitch ass male in history. Yeah, that's who he is. So anyway, let's get into this movie, right? So I wrote some notes, right? And I wrote a disclaimer for dark skinned black women, because I know that this is sensitive. And I don't mind doing colorism work here, right? I don't mind being gentle with black women who are still suffering from the effects of colorism and blackism. I don't like to just say get over it, right? I think that is I think for us to say just get over it is too for my space, right? Where we need to work that is you know that is based in being made in mother crone, right? And the mothers may be over it, and the crones are probably definitely over it, but the maidens that come over here, they're not over it, right? Right? So I'm not gonna just tell them like get over it. No, they're still living with it, and they're still suffering from it, and they still are seeing it, right? My daughter, she sends me fucking memes all the time when she's on fucking Instagram of niggas being hateful towards dark skinned black women, right? And she is in her maiden age, right? And she's still seeing it, and she's not just seeing it and just being like fuck it, right? She sees it, and it makes her feel away. So when black women are talking about how they're not going to go see the movie because of the dark-skinned black woman being displayed as a warrior or being displayed as masculine, and then they're still suffering, right? with the fact that black males are, terrorizing them due to their skin complexion. I'm not going to just, walk all over that. But this movie, ladies, is not about that. I mean, black women are glorious in this movie, right? Dark skinned black women are glorious in this movie, right? Viola Davis. First of all, Viola Davis is very now conscious of the roles that she plays, right? I watched an interview about her talking about, this role was her dream come true. Playing a woman that was so powerful and so glorious and so beautiful, even, was like the role of her dreams, right? Um, and I think that it would serve us to see this movie, right? So that's my disclaimer for the dark skinned black women who are here and like, Cream, I'm not going to go see that fucking movie. Like, I'm not going to see, my image being masculine, fighting and shit. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And I'm telling you, it is not just that, right? It is her being glorious. It's her being in her full power. It is her being revered and her being respected and her being treated in the way that dark skinned black women should be revered and treated, right? So, give it a shot after I tell you everything that happened in the movie. If you're a black woman and the reason why you can't go see the movie is because of the way that dark skinned black women are being displayed, just, look, let me tell you what happened, and then if you like, go see it, right? So let's get to why the movie was so impactful to me. So I wrote notes, right? I wrote notes because I wanted to touch on everything. And then I'm going to be saying the character's name I'm going to be probably using the character's name and who played it interchangeably, right? So that we, get a good understanding of, who I'm talking about, right? So I wanted to talk about Viola Davis, right? And in the movie, so it's based in Africa, right? Wherever the homie is, right? It's based in Africa, and I found it very, very telling. And then here I am on my Black American woman high horse, right? This is where I live at. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the black women who are here who are not Black American, right? I live on this high horse that Black American women get to live in. Sorry. And I do try to be gentle with this kind of conversation because I don't want, I want all black women to be free. But I do understand that in order for all black women to be free, Black American women have to free you, right? That's just the way it is, okay? And I found the fact that all of the characters in the movie were African, but Viola Davis, the lead, right? Viola Davis, the lead, and Viola Davis in the movie, she was the leader, right? And I found that kind of symbolic of who African American women are, or who black women are. And if I'm using African American and you're getting offended by it because you are a Black American woman and you don't like to be called African, right? Please excuse me. In my work, I had to say African American a lot, so that's just what I say, right? But I do understand that African American women or Black American women are not all African. As a matter of fact, and I'm not talking about the origin of people being from Africa, right? Because I do believe that the original people, right, were in Africa, and I believe that we were moved around a lot, and I do believe that Black American women are the descendants of those original women, right? Those first women, that African American women or Black American women that are in the United States of America, right, are descendants of that first, woman. I believe it in my spirit, in my soul. And as soon as I get the proof of it, I'll come back and tell you, right? Yeah, so Black American women don't like really to be called African. And this is, it's because her soul knows, right? Her soul knows the work that Africans did to her. And She doesn't really like it. So just, allow me to say African American if I am, right? So anyway, all of the women in the movie are African except for the leader, who was Viola Davis. And I think that was symbolic of the fact that the rest of Black American women, the rest of Black women on earth cannot be freed, is not exalted, and is not put in her position of high until Black American women are, right. We open those floodgates, right. And it will serve everybody on earth, if we did that. But if not, Black American women can do it on our own, right. So yeah, I thought that was very, very telling. And I like that it was Viola Davis, because Viola Davis is really giving Black American woman, like unambiguous Black American woman, in general, is how we see her. And then in some of the things that we have heard Viola Davis say, and being very, very proud to be a Black American woman, and being very, very proud of her dark skin, and being very, very proud of the work that she has done in this realm, and relating it to Black women, like when she did The Help. And I never saw The Help, but I know that Viola Davis said that she regrets it, right? Whatever she did in that movie, she regrets it. She regrets what it did for Black women, right? And she speaks often about how, she thinks about how her work is going to look for Black women, right? So in her own way, Viola Davis does Black women's work. And in doing this movie, I definitely think that she did Black American women's work, right? Um, so in the movie, it's a play on the maiden mother crone, which is why I made it so, which is why it was so special to me, because it was a play on the maiden mother crone, symbolism, right? Naui, who was the girl that the movie is a young girl, is the maiden, that the movie is really based around. A realm outside of Naniska, who is played by Viola Davis, who represents the crone, right? Viola Davis is representing the crone. And then in the middle, you have LaShawn Lynch, who is fucking glorious in this movie. Damn it. Like, listen, LaShawn Lynch is glorious in this movie. Like, she really plays the role of the mother very, very, very well, right? She's flowing in and out of that feminine and masculine energy, right? Because we think the maiden is going to be most of the time the maidens are usually have not really cultivated their masculine energy in any way, so they're most of the time in that childish, feminine, rebellious energy, right? And then the mothers are usually flowing in and out of feminine and masculine energy, and LaShawn Lynch just does that so well. And then of course crones are not necessarily living in their masculine energy, but they have mastered this masculine energy, and they are able to use it in the ways that suit her, right? And this is happening in the movie, right? So you have Naui, who is the young girl, who plays the young girl, the maiden, right? And she's just being she comes into this okay, let me go back. Right. So these Dahomey warriors are women who are revered, right? And I'm going to share some of the ways that they are revered. First of all, they're virgins, right? And I do think that it's power in Black women, or and Black women being virgins. And I know this because my daughter has told me, right? Because I went on to say, I think we was watching something and somebody just threw their virginity up in somebody's face. And I said, oh, look, she thinks she's special because she's a virgin. And my daughter looked at me and was like, because she is. It was in that moment I knew she was a virgin. It was in that moment that I knew that she was a virgin, right? But it is something divine and something special of being untainted and untouched by males, right? It's something divine in it. Like if we, like the males somehow defile us, right? And I truly believe that, right? So these are virgin warriors, right? And when they come into the town, right, the whole town has to put their head down. Like, they have to lower their gaze. They're not even allowed to look at them. This is how glorious they are, right? This is how revered they are. And I don't know if it's true that this is how it was in the Dahomey time. Listen, Viola Davis did a fucking movie for Black American women to get the fucking hint. I don't care if everything about it was true. I don't care. I care about the optics that Black women got in seeing this movie, right? I care about the dog whistles that Black women got in this movie, regardless of if it was everything was true or not. So we're pointing out the value of being a virgin and being untouched by males, right? And then they are revered. When they come into the town, you have to lower your fucking gaze. Don't look at them. They live in private quarters in the palace, that only women are in, right? It's only women in this space. It's no males in this space. As a matter of fact, the males that are in the space are eunuchs. I think that's how you say it, eunuchs. And let me speak to the eunuchs, right? Because if you've been here a while, you've heard me mention George Washington Carver. And it really is because I did good study on George Washington Carver, right? I did good study on Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver. Back in my pro-Black days, I was like, these are the fucking men, right? And George Washington Carver was castrated, right? And I used to, at the time, right, I used to read about how he would talk to plants. Like, most of the things that he learned about agriculture, he said because he was talking to the plants, right? And I thought that talking to the plants was very, very godly, right? When you're able to hear the plants, when you're able to hear the trees, when you're able to hear the earth, right? This is godly, right? And that's energy that Black women, tap into very easily. When she's at her highest, right? But the fact that George Washington Carver, who was a male, was able to tap into this kind of energy, I found it very, very interesting to me. And then I found out that he was castrated. Now, I know that Black males exist in some kind of sexual deviance, right? All of them. They exist in some kind of sexual deviance. And it's much higher than, white male sexual deviance is a little bit weird, right? But Black male sexual deviance is a lot more higher than the rest of the world's males because they lead in their dicks, right? They really do. Everything they do is about a fuck. And that kind of existence is just very, very vile and disgusting. But when I found out that George Washington Carver was a eunuch, it made so much sense to me. It made so much sense to me how he was able to be so grand. Right? And it actually had me think the best of Black males are going to be eunuchs. They're going to be Black males that either learned how to control their sex, or can't have sex. So he has nothing else to do with his time but to cultivate other skills. Because if not, if Black males are not eunuchs, all they're going to do with their time is worry about fucking and worrying about their dick, right? And because of this, they never really, will ever reach their true potential unless they're eunuch. And in this movie, the eunuchs were the only men that was allowed in the palace, right? That these women resided in. This is how glorious they were, right? They had their own private domain, the domain of, in the space of women, okay? This is where we exist at, right? And you peasants cannot come in here, right? Because if you do, you will be fucking gross. And you will do vile things to the virgin women here because, Black males are just like that. Like, it was known in the past that this is how they were, right? So anyway, they're living in this glorious space together, right? In comes Naui. She's supposed to be married off. She hits she's violent and she basically hits the man that her father wants to marry her off to. So her father, as a punishment, takes her to give her to the king, right? So she gets dropped off at this at the king's doorstep. Like, king, do what you want with her, right? And the king, and when women are dropped off like, garbage at the fucking king's doorstep, they enter into this tribe of women warriors, right? So that's how now we get to there, right? She gets into the she gets to be a warrior because her father found that she was useless and could not be sold to men, right? And I thought that was symbolic. you know, I thought, God damn it. Listen, this movie was telling so much truth, right? Um, you know, of not only who black women were historically, but even who we are today in Blackistan, right? And I'm gonna get to that in the sacrifice of daughters in Blackistan and how Naniska, that was the crone that is here we go. She ends up being the mother of Nawi, right? And she ends up trying they end up trying to sacrifice her, and Naniska's not letting her daughter get sacrificed, right? For the community. But anyway, Nawi is this representation of the maiden, right? And she's gentle and she's soft, and you got to handle her with care. And the crone, Naniska's not up for it, right? She's not up for it. She's lived life and she knows the dangers of the world, and she's just like, this little girl is just an annoying nuisance, right? And then in comes the mother, right? The mother character, who is played by LaShawn Lynch. And her name is, and I'm gonna say her name because she was a glorious character. LaShawn Lynch. Look, LaShawn Lynch was so fucking good. And first of all, her name was Shawn. Document that, right? And I said that was a glorious black woman name, right, LaShawn. And then I even had to go and look and see where LaShawn was from. Like I had to see after seeing her play that character so well. I thought she was, top tier black woman. And I was thinking, and I think the top tier black women are black American women. So I was like, let me go and see where this LaShawn Lynch is from, right? But anyway, LaShawn Lynch, her character name is, give me a minute. Izogi, that's her name in the movie, right? And she does this mother role very, very well, right? She flows in and out of this gentleness when she's dealing with Nawi, that is needed to deal with the maidens, right? She flows into this gentleness of being a gentle teacher to her, right? And when Nawi is being indignant maiden, right? She kind of gets in the middle of the, if we can, right? The no nonsense crone and Nawi, and try to explain, the grandness of the crone, right? She explains the grandness of the crone to the maiden so that she can understand, like, to even be around her, you should be humbled, right? To even be around her. But as the maiden does, right? The maiden, takes liking to the, as we do, right? When we're maidens, you know how you have that young aunt, right? Your mother is, older mean you can't listen to nothing that she say. She thinks that she knows everything. But you're cool auntie, right? You're cool and stylish auntie, like you want to be like her, right? So now he is looking at LaShawn Lynch's character in that cool auntie way, right? And the way that we look at the mother, right? And when you're a maiden, you want to grow up and you want to be that cool mother that you see, or that cool auntie that you see who's not necessarily your mother, because your mother's a fucking crone and she's annoying, right? And your mother's a crone and she, she's old and she, you don't really want to hear shit she got to say. But your auntie can kind of swoop in there. She can kind of get you to see the world in a way that is appeasing to you. So, LaShawn Lynch is playing that character, right? The mother. But she also reveres and constantly holds the crone up high and let her know, like, you should be, you should be thankful to be in her presence, really, right? She goes throughout the movie every single time this young Nawi is being arrogant, right? Because sometimes the maidens, they can be a little arrogant. They think they know everything. to the maidens here, y'all know, y'all know y'all be thinking y'all know everything, and sometimes you do, right? Because it's a moment in the movie where LaShawn Lynch character is practicing, and what they do is they cut the heads off their cutting the heads off of males is actually Dark Mother energy, right? Dark Mother is represented in several different ways, but I think it's Hindu, right? She's represented by Kali Ma, who literally cuts males' heads off and wrap them around her waist as a fucking as a fucking as a fucking jewel or something, right? She comes into the village with men's heads in her hands, so that is also a representation of the Dark Mother, right? But anyway, so they chop off men's heads when they are killing them, right? They just cut their heads smooth the fuck off. They cutting apes' heads smooth the fuck off. This is probably why I love this movie so much. Listen, they don't war with white males at all in this movie. They war with their fucking problem, right? And their fucking problem is apes, and they cutting apes' heads smooth the fuck off, right? So anyway, LaShawn is practicing to cut the head off of this mannequin. We're gonna call it a mannequin. And when she cuts the head off, it's an explosion, right? And the crone is pissed, right? Because she knows that the maiden has done something stupid, right? Somehow in the way she did this, the maiden did it, right? So she, goes over to the maidens, all of them, but she know it's Nawi fucking, arrogant little ass, right? So she goes and she says, all of them are gonna be punished, but Nawi says, it was me, right? I did it. But the crone is mystified, right? Because she never saw that happen. She never saw an explosion happen, like that, right? So she's like, how did you do it? Right? The crone is not so arrogant that she can't learn from the maiden, right? And she's like, how did you do it? Right? And Nawi, in her arrogance and her smartness, is like, you can do more with the gunpowder, than shoot guns or something like that. Basically, she says that, you can set fire with gunpowder, right? Or you can set explosions with gunpowder. So, in her arrogance, she throws that in the crone's face. But the crone is not so arrogant that she does not take that into her mind and learn from it, right? And that's actually how they ultimately win this war that they end up warring with apes, right? They end up warring with apes. And they win this war because Nanisca is able to see that they are going to this tribe of apes that like to sell people, right? Because this is what the fucking apes do. They they started. Listen, apes started human trafficking. I know. We like to say it was white males' idea, but it wasn't. God damn it, apes did teach white males something, and it was how to sell people, how to sell people. But white males don't like to sell their own people. They're better than that. I'm sorry to tell y'all, white males are better than black males. I know y'all hate to hear it, but goddamn it, I'm gonna keep on telling y'all. So anyway, they're selling. That Nanisca is the general of this army that is ran by the king, and the king kind of comes off as a good son, right? And I kind of like the fact that it was an example of good sons for black women to see, so that we can see that our sons will never be that, right? So that we can understand that this will never be who our sons are, right? And I'm kind of just going on and on and on, like, at this point. I'm not even using my notes, so bear with me. Y'all just let this one, the one that you just going to let play. It's Sunday. You should be doing fucking housework anyway, right? So yeah, just let this one play. So anyway, the king is coming off as a good son, right? He respects Nanisca. He honors her. He honors the women by having the whole the whole village to show reverence to them. And again, I said I don't know if that's true, if that's really how it went. But listen, we talking about what Viola Davis came to tell black women, damn it. So and this good son, he's showing reverence to the women, in this village who were warriors. He has the whole village bow down to them. He does not trample Naniska. He respects her wise counsel. He is not his sexual deviance doesn't even come up in the movie, right? Because we know that those kings were fucking sexually deviant, right? He as a matter of fact, he kind of shows reverence for the fact that women had their own agency, right? Because now he ultimately wins this race where they perform in front of the king. And she comes up in front of him and he says, he makes a joke of it, but he says if she wasn't so vicious, right, I would have her as a wife, right? But he comes off as a good son. And then it's another example of a good son in the movie. And I found this one very, 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 prolific, because this son was actually a mixed race son with a black mother who was of the Dahomey tribe, right? Let's go back. So the king's brother actually sold his mother into slavery. And I found that was so prolific because I really want for black women to understand how these males that we birthed will literally sell their own mothers. This is really what happened. And it happened in Dahomey and it happened in ancient time, right? When the Arab slavery happened, they were selling women and children. They were selling their mothers and their sisters and their own daughters, right? So this king mentions how his brother sold his mother into slavery, and then it's another good son. I didn't call him son, right? Because he was Brad's son, right? And then then another son, he comes into the movie to represent the good son, but the symbolism behind it is that he came to honor his mother, right? He is a son of a Dahomey woman who was sold into slavery, and I think it was Brazilian, right? A Brazilian man, a white Brazilian man, right? So his lineage, his male lineage is white, right? And he comes back to this town to honor his mother, and to do right by her legacy, right? And he does ultimately write it in the end. But I found the fact that they did have good sons in the movie. I found it as two different ways. I saw it as a black woman getting an example of who your son should have been, right? Who your son should have been. And also, I felt like it may have given black women some false hope that we could have those sons. That bloodline of sons been dead, long dead, and if you want to know who killed them, black male apes killed them. Apes killed that line of decent black males. They killed them, right? The males that would have been of service to black women, they killed them, right? So they don't exist anymore. But that was who your sons were supposed to be, right? That's who you had. That's how you had them. And that's, to the mothers here, who have sons, like that's who you think that your son is gonna be. But I'm here to tell you, sis, he not gonna be that, So anyway, that was the sons in the movie, right? The sons showed up. They showed up, and that was their role in the movie. So anyhow, at the end war, the ending was it's not the ending of war, because at the end of the war is when black women just go and rage on everybody. Like everybody can get it, and everybody can get it for her daughter. For her daughter, everybody can die. She's going in, she's killing the apes, she's killing the white men, she's killing every male for her daughter. Like everybody can get it. She has no fucking picks when it comes to who she has to kill or who she has to harm when it comes to her fucking daughter, right? And I found that glorious because that's how I feel. That's truly how I feel. I'm telling you now, listen, every male on this earth can die when it comes to mine. Every mammy on this earth can die when it comes to mine. I'm not sacrificing mine, right? And I think that that's how the mothers feel, right? We all here and we're all gathered. And I think that we share that, right? Like, I'm not going to sacrifice my daughter for nothing or no one. Nothing or no one, right? We have the energy of the true mothers, that matrilineal line who need to put daughters over everything else, right? And this is what Nanisca ultimately does, and it does in the end, right? She puts her daughter over everybody else, and she's willing to lay down her life in the movie for her daughter. And then her daughter is also willing to do it for her. Like, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. The story, the Nanisca and Naoi's story to me is just beautiful. So anyway, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back because I'm ranting. I'm probably gonna be here for 2 hours telling the whole movie. So like, relax, sis. You're gonna be here a while. So anyway, in comes this pompous Naoi, and her know everything, right? So she gets inside the water with and I found the water symbolic of, and notice that my page is called Ocean of Daughters, right? And how water is just symbolic of the feminine, how water is symbolic of, for me, is symbolic of the Orisha Yemaya, who favors Black American women. So anyway, they're in every time they meet and they have these like moments, they're in water. That's Naoi the daughter, and Nanisca the mother, right? They meet in water every single time. They meet in the water. But the first time they meet in the water is when, mother, right? Mother, and that's LaShawn Lynch character, tell Naoi, the maiden, to go and bathe, right? Maiden does not know that in the water is the old ass crone that, she wants, she must have let this old ass lady know, like, I'm not impressed, right? So she's in this water. And at this moment, they don't know. So they don't know their mother and daughter. And I'll get to how they figure it out. But anyway, after this, right? So I'm going to just tell you the pompousness of this little maiden, right? So she's in the water with the general of the army, right? Nanisca, the fucking woman king, right? This little Naoi who can hardly fucking fight. At this point, she just now been dumped off by her father, for being useless, to the tribe because she won't bow down to men. Right. And she gets in the water with the general, right? With the crone. And she looks at her, she says, we always hear about this magic that, the warriors, live in. And we hear these grand stories about these warriors. And she says, looks at her smugly, and she says, but you just look like an old lady to me. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm not impressed. She just says, you look like an old lady to me, right? And Nanisca gets out of the water and just, basically is like, basically she thinks to herself, like, this little girl is just gonna, die. She's too pompous. She know every fucking thing, and she's just gonna die. She's just one of the ones that's just gonna be in the way to die, so that one of my, soldiers that I value don't die, right? And basically, she just lets her know, like, women like you get killed all the time, sis. So anyway, she gets out of the water, and that was, that was a moment that they shared in the water. But anyway, did I get on the fire good enough? Okay. So in the second war, so it's 3 times they fight in the movie. So the first time is they actually fight and they come back, and then that's when you see how revered they are. And I need to say, these people don't know that it's a war coming, right? And then the second time is when they actually war with the niggas who want to sell people, right? And the homie people were selling people, right? And Nanisca is the one who comes to the king. Mind you, the king behaves as a good thon, right? He's a good one. And she comes to the king, and she lets him know, as a wise mother, like, we can't sell people. Like, this is bad on our history. This is bad on our soul, and we're better than this. Like, we can't sell people. We can't even sell people that we have captured. We can't even sell the people that we've captured. Like, we just can't do that. It's just inhumane, and we can't do it. And the king is like, well, figure out something else that we can sell, because we got to sell something, right? And Nanisca goes on telling them we can sell palm oil. And she tries to explain to him how, selling palm oil can work instead of selling people. She goes to say, if we keep on selling people, basically, the white people are gonna, buy us all up. Like, how long until we don't have enough captives and we start selling each other, right? And so she's trying to, she's acting as a mother, and she's trying to just be who black women are, right? And that's grand, regal, noble, and godly, um and 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 fair and just, and all the glorious things that black women are historically, okay? And I don't mean like individual black women have not done harm. I mean, like, as a whole, um I'm just gonna say it, as a whole, black American women don't got no blood on our hands. Like, really, we really don't. We come into this realm with no fucking blood on our hands as far as karmatic that, like as far as doing a great crime to humanity. Like, we haven't done that yet. The sistren in Africa, y'all got some blood on your hands, but African American women or black American women, we don't have that kind of karmic blood on our hands. We just don't. We don't exist like that. We're too good for that. That's, and if y'all can see my face, I'm being very smug, right? We just really are too good for that. Like, and that's just how we exist. We're too good for that kind of lowness, right? We just don't do it. We don't harm as a collective, and I don't mean black women don't harm each other, but as a collective, like, we just don't do that. To be honest, we don't. So, there is Viola Davis, and you see her as a black American woman, right? And she's just letting him know, like, this is beneath us, right? And she doesn't want us to fucking sell people. You fucking jackass. Your mother was just now sold by your fucking brother, and you're still selling people, you fucking idiots, right? So that's her claim, right? She doesn't want to sell people. So they get into another war with these I think, let me look. I want to be correct on who they were. They were Muslim, right? Because their heads was wrapped up. their heads was wrapped up, and they came in, in my mind, looking like Muslims. Anyhow, so this other tribe of apes want to continue to sell people, and they want to run over the Dahomey empire, and they come in, and before they come in, Naniska's having bad dreams, right? And Naniska has Naniska, the crone, has a sister crone, right? Who name is Amenza, but Amenza is spiritual counsel, right? She's a warrior as well, but she's also spiritual counsel, right? She's tapped into the divine, and Naniska does not necessarily believe in everything, all of her work, and as far as her craft, right? As far as what we know is witchcraft, but she doesn't believe in it, but she wakes up, and Amenza's like, Amenza's glorious too. All four of these women in this movie are glorious. But anyway, Amenza is her wise spiritual counsel, and she tells her, she tries to read, she said rocks, right? But I guess what we would know, like divination using cowrie shells, she's doing divination, and she tells her that something is coming from her past, right? And so in comes this other tribe of men, apes, and Naniska remembers the man that comes because he was a man that raped her when she was captured. Right? When she was captured, these are virgins, right? And, as y'all see them, these apes all on fucking YouTube and all around the world telling us how they love virgins. This is historical for them. Like, they love raping virgins. This is what they do. They have a sick, like for raping virgins, right? So they end up raping her several times, right? And she remembers this general of this other army being one of the men who raped her. Anyhow, she stops in her tracks because, you know, rape is a fucking horrible fucking experience, and you can imagine if you're just being tied down and raped by several men, like, oh. Anyhow, she remembers him and she kind of stops, and the king has to remind her, like, Nanisca, I'm walking, you gotta come up. But anyway, he comes and he wants more virgin warriors, right? He wants them. Because, you know, apes like virgins. And I found this kind of wild, right? Because she doesn't tell the women as she picks them, right? Because he says that he wants 20 virgins or he wants 40 virgins, and they drops it down to 20. And that's also some symbolism on Islam, right? Because, you know, the Muslims like virgins seem fucking sickos. The males are sick, right? Let's just get it through our head. Let's just let our misandry run wild. The males are sick, right? The males are sick, right? But anyway, he wants some virgins, right? And she doesn't tell. So she has no intent on giving him her warriors, right? But she had been seeing, cause at this point now we wants to prove herself to the crone, right? She wants to prove herself that I am fucking good, right? So now we are staying up all night long practicing, right? So she goes to pick these 20 virgins that he wants, and none of the virgins know at the time that, you know, she's picking them. She's picking them, but she's not going to actually give them to her. And she chooses Nawi, right? She chooses, you know, she points. It's this moment in the movie where she just goes and she points to the women and they all come out, right? And I can't remember if she pointed at Azogi, that was LaShawn Lynch's character, who was a fierce fucking warrior. Like, she was a fierce warrior. She was eating niggas up. Listen, it's something in me. Something in my spirit, like the fact that there were women at one time that was eating niggas up. I like it. But anyhow, she was a fierce warrior, but I can't remember if she picked Azogi to be one of these women, but she ended up picking Nawi, right? So she goes to have this moment with this general. And before she goes to have this moment, she's already decided, like, I'm going to kill him or I'm going to die trying. Like, she's made it up in her mind, like, bitch, you're going to die. Or I'm going to die. One of us is going to fucking die, bitch. Both of us can't live on this earth together, right? It's not enough room on planet Earth for both of us to be here, right? So she goes into, and she, you know, she cut the man, she cut this, so he leaves one of his soldiers, she cut him up and throw him, and he says that, you know, he's happy to have the virgins. She said, this is not your gift. And she throws him a bucket of his soldier dead, right? And it's his soldier all chopped up. She said, this is your gift. And she said, let it be known from here until forever that, you know, the homie empire is not, you know, basically bowing down to you. And then she screams, and all of the women are supposed to run. All of the soldiers are supposed to run, right? But she's made up her mind that she must have war with him. So all of the women run except for her. And now he sees that she does not run. So now he goes back too, right? And you know, she pulls out her sword and she's ready to war with him. But he calls for his soldiers to come, right? And now he goes and she lets down this like guard so that they can't get through, right? To allow Nanisca to have this moment to war with him and possibly kill him, but she doesn't. But finally, now he yells, like, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go because they about to lift this gate up and we gonna be dead, man. But notice that now he was willing to die with Nanisca at that moment, right? Because everybody else ran. Not that they would have ran. The plan was to run, right? Everybody knew the plan was to run. But Nanisca didn't follow the plan, right? And Amenza pulls her in close about it, right? Like, she says, I would never question you in front of us. Listen, here we go. Black women staying on code. God damn it. Look, black women staying on code. She says, I would never question you in front of, the rest of the warriors. She was like, but because she gets back and she fusses Nawi out, right? Nawi saves her life, right? She fusses Nawi out for doing so because she said, basically I instructed y'all to run and your ass didn't run like the fuck I told you to. You hard-headed, right? Being a typical crone, because sometimes the maidens be knowing. Sometimes the maidens be knowing, damn it. To all the crones that's here, and I know that I'm not technically a crone, but in having my own daughter that is a maiden, sometimes I've had to be fucking humbled by my daughter. Sometimes she fucking knew, right? Sometimes she knows, right? So once she didn't run, now we knew that, like, oh shit, she about to die. So now he bucks and says, if I didn't come back, I saved your life. And basically she still let her know, if I told you to do something, you need to fucking do it, right? And it's giving crone energy. It's giving I'm the mother, you're the child. It's that's what it's giving. Do what the fuck I say and not as I do. That's what it's giving. And we've been there, as mothers of maidens, right? We've been there, like, do what the fuck I said, don't do what the fuck I do, But now we did not listen. So, she chastised her in front of everybody. And she says, it's better to die than to be caught by these fucking apes. It's better to die than to be caught and fucking used by apes. It's better for black women to be dead than to be trapped with apes. Y'all getting this message? Are y'all getting this message? Listen, being trapped with an ape is the worst place for a black woman to be. Being trapped with the ape is worse than death. Okay? Y'all got it? Y'all getting this message? Y'all getting this message that Viola Davis sent out to us? It's better to be dead. Take your chances. Take your chances in a Republican state. When civil unrest happens, take your chances and bet on white males' benevolence before you are trapped with apes. Okay? But anyway. So anyway, Amenza, because Amenza is a crone as well, so she can check her sister, right? And she lets her know, like, you are the one that did not follow the plan. Like, you're fussing at now, you fussing at baby girl over here, but you're the one that did not follow the plan. Shit. Once you didn't follow the plan, the whole plan went out the fucking window, right? And then she lets Amenza know, that was never my plan. My plan was to kill him. Like, I told y'all, but my plan was to kill him. And they go on back to the village, right? Of glorious women, okay? And then that happens, right? So they declare war on these apes, right? So these apes are planning, they're traveling to basically war with the homie on their own tribe, right? And because black women are so skilled in fucking tactics, right? This is why the apes never listen. This is why the apes never should have been exalted so high, because they don't really have the mind space and the brain space and the logical ability to really contend with black women, right? If someone was going to contend with black women's minds, right? I know we like to say the mind is the masculine. Well, black women flow in and out of masculine energy quite easily if we wish to, right? So the logical part being masculine, black women master that, right? If we like to, we can master that kind of energy. We can be a step beyond everybody else when it comes to thinking and brain power. And if we didn't get so scared, right? This is why black women end up in engineer programs, right? Based on their logic and their wit. And even though we don't follow through with it, we have the logic and the know-how to really do it if we wanted to, but we're afraid of it. We're afraid of that kind of mind that we could have, like, to really ultimately contend with white males, to be honest. If we really wanted to, we could contend we could contend with the magnificent brain of the white male. Damn it. And white males have a magnificent brain. Okay? White males have magnificent brains, okay? They're fucking brilliant. They're very, very, very smart. They think very, very, very fucking well. But so the fuck can we. So the fuck can we. And I think that's I think that it would serve black women to tap into that kind of, you know, remember those very, very wise sciences that, you know, black males like to say the Greeks stole from them. Well, they stole them, you know, them apes stole them from their mothers, right? Their mothers were scientists, their mothers were mathematicians, their mothers were brilliant, brilliant, brilliant women, and this is who we descended from. Okay? So we have the ability to tap into that kind of logic if we like. Okay? Let me know when y'all ready. Anyway, so Naniska is watching these fucking apes, these dumbass apes, try to war with her, and she realizes that they are going to try to war with her on her own territory. And she remembers what her daughter taught her, right? And I'm saying daughter right now because they don't really know their mother and daughter yet. Let's get to when they find out that they're mother and daughter, and then because the war comes after the mother and daughter. The war happens after she figures out that Nawi is her daughter, right? So mind you, you know, she was raped, right? So she was raped, and then she hid her pregnancy the whole time because she did not want to be cast away and cast out by her sister, right? She's a warrior, right? And she enjoys being a warrior, and she knows that this is what she does in her life, right? This is what her life is for, until she, you know, gets raped by 8. And, you know, if you've been here for a little while, this is something else I really relate to, right? This is something I really, really relate to. Although I was not technically raped by a fucking ape, I was, you know, I had a baby at 14. Y'all know that, right? But let's just get into this mother daughter thing, right? Which was glorious, right? So because she's a mother and she had a daughter, right? Even though she knew she could not keep the daughter and she did not care what she couldn't care what happened to the daughter, she still loved the daughter enough to mark her, right? She loved this baby enough to mark her. So she comes up to Nawi one time, and Nawi has a mark on her arm, and she says, you know, she's counting up Nawi's wounds, right? Because they go through this maze to become king. I mean, to become the strongest warrior, right? And for the king, they're performing for the king, and Nawi wins it, right? Because Nawi been busting her ass, right? She wants to prove herself to this throne. She probably wants to prove herself better than this throne, right? And she ultimately is, right? She ultimately is better than her mother, right? That's what the fuck happens. In case y'all didn't know, you end up being better than your mother, and to the crones, if you know, your daughters end up being better than you. I know that because I'm watching my daughter grow into better. I'm watching her be better. And so anyhow, so Nawi wins, and Naniska's proud of her because Naniska catches her fighting at nighttime. You know, she catches her really working to get this down, right? She watches her, and not only does Nawi win, but Nawi. So it's all right. Let's go back to the look. This review gonna be forever, y'all. So let's go back, right? So what happens when these women go in and war with the apes, right? They kill all the men, take all the women, right? They give the women a chance to be inside their army, right? Or to live inside. They give them a chance to say, her literal words were, "We do not charge women with the crimes of their men," right? And I found that profound because that's what happens in these diaspora wars, right? Black women get all tribal and trying to protect the men of their tribe. And, you know, a black woman, right? A black American woman in the movie, she says, listen, we don't do that. Like, we don't charge the women with the crimes of the men. Like, that's ludicrous. You're here now, right? You're now in Dahomey, and you're welcome to stay here. And if you want, you can even war with us, right? So now he makes friends with one of the girls that stays, right? Because she's you know, they went and, you know, the Dahomey women warriors then went and killed all the men in the village and took the women and offered them freedom, and offer them freedom, right? You can stay and you can war with us, right? This is a safe space for you, right? You don't have to go out into homie as a woman of another village, right? And be destroyed by our men, right? You can stay and you can, decide to war with us, right? You can stay and you can decide um to be a part of us, or you can go, right? And some of the women go, right? But one stays. And now we ask her, why did you stay? And her exact words to Nawi was, because here, at least I get to be the hunted and not the hunt. At least I get to be the hunter and not the hunted. This is how horrible black men are around the world, okay? This is how bad this is how bad black men are. This woman is just like, at least in this space with you women, I get to be the the hunter and not the hunted, right? That's one of Nawi friends, right? And then another one of Nawi friends that she makes is a girl who just had nowhere else to go. Like I had nowhere else to go, right? So she's a little bit more weaker than Nawi, right? So when they're going through this maze of tearing up their bodies for the fucking king to prove that they're good warriors, Nawi and the woman who is of the other village, right? They're neck and neck. Nawi gets in front of her, and then she realizes that the woman that was behind her, the woman that was her friend, who may not have been as strong as her, couldn't get through this is true sisterhood, right? Couldn't get through this maze, right? So she goes back and she pulls her through, right? And everybody, got this little hope for Nawi to win because, they become, Amenza's soul can't stay away from her own daughter. I mean, not Amenza. Naniska's soul can't stay away from her own daughter, right? She can't not love her, right? She's hardy and she basically is reminding her of herself, right? I remember a long time ago, if you don't like something, it read, if you don't like something in your daughter, fix it in yourself, right? And I started to think to myself as I raised my daughter, like the things about her that really, really, really frustrate me. Were the things in myself that I didn't like in my own damn self, right? And Naniska is dealing with this, but loving her all the same, right? Falling in love with her all the same. Having to deal with her arrogance and her know-it-all attitude and still can't help but fall in love with her, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful love story. So anyway, when they see now we go back to get the girl that couldn't get through, like they're all like, see, this is what the fuck I'm talking about. She hard-headed as shit, right? Like she's supposed to be running through this maze to win, and her ass go back, and we told her not to go back, but she don't fucking listen, right? So anyway, now he goes back to get her friend who's not as strong, right? This is a sign of true sisterhood, right? I can't leave my sister behind, right? So she goes back. That actually costs someone else. Y'all growing fond of the characters now, so that actually costs someone else their lives. Sorry, going back, but let me finish. Here. So now he goes back to get her homegirl. Like, sis, we gotta get through this together, right? We came together and we gonna end this shit together. And then the sister of the other tribe, right? That now we still became fond of, is still leading, but now we ends up beating her. And even though she went back, she still ends up winning this contest. And she turns right around and she runs into the arms of the woman who was from the other tribe, who she was neck and neck with, who she almost lost to. She runs right into her arms and gives her a hug, and they celebrate this win for Nawi together. It's fucking glorious. It's glorious. The movies, the sisterhood, and I don't even know if I talked about anything else besides the sisterhood in the movie. I didn't give a fuck about nothing else. Anything else in the movie I didn't give a fuck about. I love the movie for its sisterhood. I love the movie for the relationship between Aniska and her daughter. And that, for me, was the most glorious thing I could see. There is a man in the movie, and I know everybody's interested in the love interest because, for some reason, black women don't like black women to be with white men. Damn it, get over it. That's what the fuck we doing, okay? I don't know what more to tell you. That's what the fuck we're doing, okay? We're doing it, sis. You gotta live with that. That's what the fuck we doing. So anyway, but I'll get into that short, irrelevant, romantic something that it was, but it was short and it was irrelevant other than the fact that black males should be of service to their fucking mothers, and the best of black males that's going to come, and the best sons that black women are going to have from their womb is going to get their Y chromosome from their white fathers. Got it? Okay? Listen, we're going to have sons to wipe out your sons, and that's that. And that's that. But anyway, moving on, y'all. That's not where we at. That's not where we at yet. So anyway, now he wins this competition, and Mother, which is LaShawn Lynch's character, it's like licking her wounds, right? She's getting all of the cuts that's on her. She's cleaning them all up, right? And in comes the crone, and she congratulates her, like, she acts like it's not a big deal, but she still got to chastise her. So she's like, you went back, and then she says to Nanisca, you wouldn't go back for Amenza, which is, her right hand, right? You wouldn't go back for Amenza, and she jokes and says, I step on her head. But, she'd go back for Amenza. She'd give her life for Amenza. They all give their life for each other. And this is the kind of sisterhood that black women are building inside of this temple where the males are eunuchs. This is the kind of sisterhood that black women could have if the males are eunuchs and we don't venture out to see males. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to do that. Even myself, I tell y'all I struggle. But this is how glorious it could be, okay? So anyway, y'all. The mother's licking her wounds, LaShawn Lynch character, and I don't know why I can't say I can't remember this LaShawn Lynch character name. Let me get it in my mouth one time. LaShawna. Her name is LaShawna. I'm quite sure LaShawna is an African American woman name. LaShawna is a black woman's name, a black American woman name. Am I right or am I right? Damn it. Izogi. So wait 1 second, y'all. Let me just. Okay, so anyway, Izogi is licking Nawi's wounds, and in comes the crone, which is Nanisca, and she's, Amenza right next to her. She sees this mark on Nawi's shoulder. And so she sees this mark on Nawi's shoulder. And she asks Nawi, she said, how did you get that? Right? Because she's talking about how glorious the scars are. She's showing her all her scars or whatever. And she asks her, where did she get that scar from? And Nawi says, I don't know. I was born with it when my father got me from the orphanage. Huh. At that moment, you knew. But no, you kind of knew all along, right? But, at that moment, it was at that moment that you knew, right? And she says, you're adopted. And then she goes on to say, yeah, my father's, said that he picked the wrong daughter, right? And they laugh about it. But Nanisca goes into the back, right? And she yells at Amenza, right? One thing about it is, as a crone, don't somebody know all your secrets is really your best friend, right? She know every fucking thing, right? So she yells at Amenza, what did you do with that baby? Right? And Amenza, right, stands, Amenza lets her know, listen, I am not one of them, sis. She lets her know, I am not one of them, okay? You boss everybody else around here, but you know better, right? Not necessarily you know better, but when it's me and you, it's an equal fucking ranking, right? But anyway, Nanisca goes on to continue to yell, like, I'm not playing. Like, what did you do with that baby? And she says that she gave it to, someone walking in an orphanage. I mean, she gave it to the nuns, right? And Amenza is like, God could not be so cruel. It's probably because she mentioned the male God and she thought of it as cruelness. God is that wonderful. Actually, she is. She is that wonderful, right? She is that glorious. She is that kind. She is that gentle, and she is that glorious, right? So she says God couldn't be so cruel, right? Um. So yeah, God couldn't be that cruel. So anyway, I'm trying to remember a. Okay, so anyway, at nighttime that night, right? They have this ceremony, right? Where they put all that blood inside. They have a ritual, right? They have a ritual. And it's probably this ritual, in case you didn't know how these things work, it's probably that ritual that, protects them in general. It's probably because it's all women. It's truly a sacred space, and it's truly it's favored by Mother, right? The Divine Mother. So they had this ritual at the end of the night, and basically I meant to just like throw it away. It's not, it's not possible. Um, and this is where the boy comes in. So the boy earlier, he came and he said, I'd like to see you. And she's like, okay, well, after this ceremony, we can see each other. So she has the ceremony with her sisters, and she goes and, immediately after the ceremony, typical maiden shit, like, I'm say it. Look, the person that sells out the sisterhood most likely is always a maiden. It's always a maiden, going to go see a fucking meal. But she held it together, right? She went to go see this meal, and first of all, Mother had already saw that the boy liked her, right? Let's go back to this guy. All right. So the Brazilian, he's half Brazilian and half black, right? And he meets Nanisca inside he meets Naui inside the river, right? He's washing and she steals his clothes, and she basically, and he's scared shitless because here he is, with one of the bloodiest bitches in Africa, right? That's what the white boy named him, right? And there he is with one of them, and he's actually there with the one. I think that he may have saw her with Nanisca at that time. At the riverbank. I can't remember. I should have watched it 3 times. I'm gonna watch it 3 times. I'm gonna go see it again. I'm gonna go see it again. But I'm for real probably gonna go see it again, maybe next weekend. But anyhow, he sees her in this river that they are in, and she takes his clothes and she tells them you need to go back. And he's like, you're a slave trader, and the women don't like the slave traders. And he's like, no, I'm not a slave trader. I came to visit my mother's home. My mother is the homie, right? And she gives him back his clothes and she runs because the white males are coming, right? And then he's there doing this ceremony. I mean, he's there doing the ceremony that they have where they contend, the women warriors contend, and they get some kind of favor from the king, right? And she won it, right? And he couldn't keep his eyes off of her, right? And so he tells her that he wants to meet her. So anyway, they end up meeting. And they talk, and he basically tells her that it's about to be, that the other tribe is coming. Like they're coming, and they want to, they ready to wage war, right? So she gets this intel from him, and she goes, as she should, to the crown and let her know here they go in the water again. Here we go again in the water, right? So she goes to tell her that she goes to tell Nanisca that this is about to happen, right? That the white boy then told her, the half white boy then told her what happened, right? But Nanisca can't think of shit else besides, here we are in this fucking sacred moment, and your ass going to go look for a boy. Which is, it's typical me and shit, but damn it, you, yeah, look, Nawi, please get your fucking head on straight and don't be thinking about no fucking boys. We don't worry about boys over here, right? So, she chastises her for it and she makes her cry, really, right? Because those maidens are maidens are very gentle. Those maidens are very gentle creatures. I ain't lying. I remember times where all I did was just look at my daughter wrong and she would cry. Like, really, they really are very, very, just like you gotta handle them with kids, because they very, very gentle. Like, their feelings hurt very easily. The maidens' feelings be hurting very easily. So anyway, Nawi is crying because her mother is chastising her, right, for going out with this boy. And then finally she pulls her in close and she tells her, basically she tells her, she's being haughty and she says, I'll never get caught like you. I heard, basically she tells her, Izogi told me that you was caught and I'll never get caught like you. Basically, I'm better than you again. So she pulls her in close and she lets her know, you're right, I was caught and I was raped many times. And from that rape, I got pregnant. And I got pregnant and in the moment that I had alone with the baby, right, I marked her, right? I marked my child. And I marked her with this fucking same mark that's on your fucking arm. And inside of this mark is a shark's tooth, right? And she cuts the girl open. She cuts the girl's fucking shoulder open, and there it is, the fucking shark teeth, right? It's her daughter. It's her daughter. Right in her face. And now we just gets out of the water and she runs and she goes and cries and she goes and cries and she's all torn up about it, okay? But anyway, it's they end up being mother and daughter, and that's how you find out they mother and daughter. Now back to the brain of black women that apes can never contend with. Okay, if you're a black woman and you feel like you fucking witty and you feel like you fucking smart, don't ever date no fucking ape. Okay, lesson I learned. Those niggas can't keep up a conversation to say they fucking lies. How do you think that I know that white males have fucking brilliant brains? I sit around and pick them all fucking day. I love it. If it's one thing that truly attracts me about white males, it is the fact that they are so fucking witty and so fucking brilliant. I love it. So anyway, let me stop dick riding white boys, because I know that upsets a lot of black women. So let me stop dick riding white boys. But anyway, in her brilliance, that trumps all the males, and that trumps all the males. Okay, let me say it. In her brilliance, she's watching these apes try to come in on her land, and she remembers the words of her daughter, right? Literally, the words of her daughter, the young maiden, that you don't need a gun to do something with gunpowder, right? And she sets up gunpowder all where she thinks they're going to make camp, right? Where she outthinks him, and she realizes that these apes are going to set camp in a specific space. And they run gunpowder all throughout this space that they're going to set up camp at, right? These apes so fucking stupid that they set up camp on a fucking mine of fucking gunpowder. So then, as they set up camp, they go and the homie warriors, which were both, there is the women warriors and the men warriors, and they both go and they both, declare war. They blow up all of these, this camp that they set, right, with the gunpowder, right? Because remember, her daughter told her that you can do more with gunpowder than shoot a gun, right? And she remembered that, right? This is how they win the war. They win the war due to the maiden, right? Because the maiden knew something that the crone was just too old to know. It's like, look, to all the crones that's here, let me relax. Let me relax. She was not too old to know. She just did not know, But yeah. So she learned from her daughter. She was able to take that lesson. I'm saying that this to point out that sometimes the maidens do be knowing shit, and it's because they It really do be because we too old to know it. Like my daughter, she be knowing shit. I really don't have the time to sit around to fucking learn it. I don't have the time to sit around and fucking get into it. I don't, let her just do it. Right? It's really how I be feeling sometimes. But yeah, so she was able to learn from the meeting, and this had them win this war. But in the war, now we Miss Know What the Fuck All got caught. Okay, Miss Know What the Fuck All, yeah, got caught. And also the saddest part of the movie is the fact that Inzogi got caught as well. And she, mind you, Inzogi is the most the best warrior they have, and she got caught. She got her arm broke, and she got caught by these fucking apes, and they're inside the cages, and they're about to be sold. But Inzogi's arm is broken. When your arm is broke, you are of no use to the fucking slavery. You got a fucking broke arm. So one of the things that she tells Nawi, mind you, she's been teaching Nawi, since they got, since she got there, she's been noticing that Nawi, needed a little bit of guidance, and she's been guiding her through this whole time, right? And she goes over to her when she sees her, and Nawi is so happy to see her, right? She's so happy to see Mother, because she knows that Mother's going to get them out of this, right? She knows that, Mother's going to figure out a way. Literally, she says it. Like, she says, now what do we do? Like, she really says, she knows that Mother's going to get them out of this, right? But now, Inzogi's feeling defeated because her arm is broke. Inzogi is Lashana Lynch character, right? This is the one that I said is Mother. Even though I keep on saying Mother about Nanisca, who is the crone, I'm calling her Mother because she's literally the maiden's mother, right? But in this movie, Inzogi, or Lashana Lynch character, is playing the role of Mother, right? But she's feeling defeated because her arm is broke and she got caught, right? She's the strongest warrior and she got caught, right? So she's in her feelings, and she says, remember what Nanisca said, we have to kill ourselves, right? It's better than to just die than to kill ourselves, right? But that was the crone's thought, right? But that wasn't her original thought, right? That wasn't, and I can't remember her exact words. That wasn't Lashana Lynch and Inzogi's original thought. Her thought was, we must continue to fight. Like, there's no stopping fighting, right? And now we remind her of that. She says, no, we must continue to fight, right? And she puts this, she puts this back in Zogi's mind, like, no, we must continue to fight, right? And she says, okay, fine, you're right, I said that, right? You're holding me to my word, right? She says, put my arm back in place. So she puts her arm back in place, her broken arm back in place, right? And then, as she knew, as now we knew, Mother was going to come up with a plan, and she tells her the plan, right? We're going to go up on the chopping block. They're going to sell us first because we are warriors. They're going to sell us first. We can't let them see that my arm is broke. And as soon as they turn their fucking back, we taking a gun, killing them, and getting the fuck out of there. Now, throughout the movie, she makes jokes about Nawi being a slow runner, right? She keeps on, laughing at Nawi because she's so fucking slow. And she says, Nawi, you move like a snail, right? That's her line to Nawi all throughout the movie. You move like a fucking snail, sis. You're slow. You're young and you're fucking slow. So anyway, here's the part. Here's the part where the fucking male is of no fucking use and needs to be out of the way, right? So they're up on the shopping block, and he comes, the male, the mixed male, who's there to do the work of his mother. He comes and he sees Nawi about to be sold, and he is fucking sick, cause the nature of white males, right? And that's the masculine nature that he has in his spirit and his soul, right? Knows that his position in this realm is of no use if he cannot be of use to women, right? If he, white males have decided, and I know y'all don't like when I do this. I know y'all don't like when I fucking dick ride the white males, but damn it, I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm still the age of a mother. I'm not a fucking crone, okay? I'm not a fucking crone yet. I'm still the age of mother, and I still like men. I still like men, and I like the most powerful of men. I'm really attracted to power, right? You know, that's probably how I ended up. You know, that's probably how I ended up getting pregnant by a fucking 8, because you know, and where I was from, the niggas and you know, and the street niggas was, you know, the most powerful niggas in the hood, and those are the ones that I liked, right? I'm attracted to power, right? So anyhow, and learning what true power is, right? And learning what true power is, I'm attracted to white males. That's my type. So anyway, moving on. White males understand that at their core they should be of use to the women, right? Without being of use to the women, they have no purpose in life. You know, women give them a reason to live and a reason to die for, if necessary. And I got that from KSC, by the way. FYI, I got that from KSC herself, okay? She who should not be named. I heard her say that, and I knew that those fucking thuns would never live up to that, but white males could. I knew that black males, them fucking apes, would never live up to that. They would never live up to the fact that women give them a reason to live and a reason to die if necessary. That is how white males live, right? And that's the fucking fact of the matter. That's how I know we can make a truce with their asses. They are here to be of use to women. They know that women give them a reason to live, and you know that because white males are out here telling everybody they lonely. The apes are on here saying that they got picks and they can choose any woman they want, and you know the women are all around them, and you know what women bring to the table, and white males are out here like, listen, damn it, listen, women. We have to reconcile. It's not working. I am fucking miserable because I cannot be with the woman. That's what the white males out here saying. Like, life is not worth living if I cannot be with the woman. It's not worth it. I don't want it. I will throw the whole patriarchy away and rewrite the whole rules of it if women will come back to me. Is what white males are out here saying. And that's how this half white male behaved, right? He saw now he up on that chopping block and lost his fucking shit. Lost his fucking shit. And got in the way. Truly. And got in the way. Because the plan, it kind of threw Naui off the plan. It threw her off her square, to be honest, right? The fact that he came in and he acted like a fucking baboon because he was in his feelings. Because white males be having feelings. You know, they don't have a lot, but they be having more feelings than your fucking sons. If you're here and you're listening to this fucking video and you a fucking mother of sons, listen, a mother of sons, sis, white males got more feelings than your fucking sons. I don't know how they evolved so quickly, but damn it, they have. So anyhow, this half white male, it comes in and he goes fucking ape shit. And he goes fucking ape shit, and he throws Naui off her square, right? And Lashana Lynch character has to remind her, like, listen, sis, we out of here. Let him make the commotion so we can get the fuck out of here. So they begin the plan, right? And listen, the saddest part of the movie, I'm gonna cry every time I see it. Y'all. I'm blowing this for you, so I hope that you saw the movie. And I cried the first time, and I cried the second time harder. And when I see the movie the third time, I'ma cry harder. Lashana Lynch character is out of there, right? She is a fucking warrior. She runs up on a fucking wall. She is out of there. She is damn near to the homie. You know, she's out of there. She had made it out. But because Naui is so fucking slow, and she gets caught by the males, right? And Lashana Lynch character turns around to go get her. And even though we all know that you can't do that, right? You can't turn around. When you're at the end, black women, and you're almost out, Another lesson KSC taught me. She spoke about how it's only room for one black woman to get out the door, and you're going to turn around and look for your sister, and you're going to end up getting got. Literally happened to Lashana Lynch. She turned around, and it would have been best in this movie had she just kept on running, because there was the white male, right? He was really, at this point, the half white male, damn it. At this point, for black women dating interracially, we got to start doing it like this. We got to start doing it like this. We got to start letting white males have their fucking sons. If we have male children for white men, look, they are white male sons, okay? And the daughters that we have from our wombs are our fucking daughters. Like, we got to start getting that in our mind. Like, these little mixed race children that black women are going to be having, who have white fathers, he might be a little bit like his father, sis. He might not be like your father, right? He doesn't have that bloodline of your fucking dad. He has the bloodline of his father, right? And we gotta start rationalizing it, right? We gotta start being okay with it. Like, they might be a little bit better than the average ape. They might be a little bit better than the average ape, damn it. So anyhow, he had already decided that he wanted to die for. So Nzogi's character really could have kept on running. She could have said, the white boy, the half white boy, going to save her. He already showed his love for her, and he's going to save her. But she couldn't trust it. Nzogi couldn't trust it. That half white boy was going to do what was right by Nawi. Right? She turned around to go and get her sister and got murdered. They shot her, and it was very brokenhearted. They let Nawi go, right? Because we talk about how divine black women is. They let Nawi go to go and get her sister. Like, they let her go. Like, look, we know she's not going nowhere because she's not leaving this dead black woman, right? And she goes and she hugs Ngozi, and whatever her name is, Lashana Lynch carries her, and she hugs her. And she screams at them, "Get away from her!" And they back up, right? They listen to the divine. They back up. They don't come near. Like the fuck she said, "Get the fuck away from her." You fucking killed a goddess, basically. Don't come fucking near her. And she holds her close to her chest, and she's dying. And Lashana Lynch character says, "Nawi, you run like a snail." She says, "You run like a snail. Girl, I had to come back and get you because you run like a fucking snail." And then she dies, and it's fucking heart-wrenching, and it's heartbreaking, and it's, it killed me. It killed me. But anyhow, they walk up to her, this fucking ape, and he says about now, he said, if you want her to the half white boy, we're gonna recognize he was half white. Like, we're gonna recognize that this good son who came to do his mother's work, and his mother's work was probably, to save Nawi and make sure that she did not go into the slavery that his mother went into, right? And doing his mother's work, right? He had the courage and he didn't have the hate in his heart for black women. Damn it, I'm going too deep into this movie, but this is what the fuck happened, right? He had the courage and the heart to have a care for her, because he was not a black XY. Okay? That hate that black males have on black women, it's on that Y chromosome that he did not have, right? And I thought that was very significant for black women to see, right? That the male that's ultimately saves Nawi, because he ends up buying her. That saves Nawi is not, she was a fucking dead woman, right? The male that saves her is the son of a white male, okay? And that's that. Like, we gotta live with that, right? So anyway, he locks her inside of a room, and then he comes out of the room, and she's fucking pissed. God damn it, because the one thing black women to do is stand up to fucking white men. And she's fucking pissed. So when he comes in, she cuts him the fuck out and said, "Oh, now you own me." And he's just like, "Relax, sis." And he gives her the key so that she can come in and out of the room as she pleases. And he's like, when I leave, I'm just gonna take you with me and give you the life that you deserve. You had a rough time. You had a rough time on this continent with these fucking apes. I'm just gonna, swoop in and take you home, and you can, basically live with me in my white country with running hot water. You can live with me in my home of running hot water. The concrete jungle of my home. You can just come on and live with me, and I'll just rescue you, right? And at this point, Ngozi is dead, right? She doesn't think anyone is coming to save her. She doesn't think, she's just like, oh, okay, right? When Black women don't have an option of sisterhood, I guess, listen, if there is no sisterhood, and I guess we'll just go into the folds of patriarchy. Fuck it, right? If Black women are not going to decide, listen, that we're going to build something for us and we're going to live and be happy, together, then I guess, fuck it, I'll just, be the best male's wife. That's where she at in her life. Wait a minute. Is that where we are in our lives? Wait a minute, y'all. Is that where we at? Listen, we can do better than that. And we can do better than that, but it's necessary. But what has to happen is the crones have to find us. The crones have to find us worth saving. If Black women don't want us to just go into the folds of the white male patriarchy and just marry white men, the best men on earth, mind you, then the crones have to come and do the work necessary to save us. Okay? And Naniska does that, right? She goes to the king, and the king is like, we won this war. We killed those, we won this war with the apes. The more vile apes than I am. And he's like, I'm going to crown you as my wife, right? Make her the woman king, my equal. And Naniska like, no, my daughter, and Zogi at this point, right? Because my daughters, my ocean of daughters is held captive, nigga. I don't want to be your fucking wife. I want to go get my daughters, right? And he's like, he puts down his foot. He lets her know, oh, I'm the king, right? You're going to do what I say. Like, those women gave up their lives, right? But see, my daughter can't give up her life for your fucking village, buddy. Okay? For your fucking village, for your fucking community, my daughter cannot give up her life for it. My daughters cannot die for your fucking village. Are you fucking stupid? So, Naniska decides on her own that she's gonna go and she's gonna rescue her fucking daughters alone. At this point, she wouldn't die, right? Because it's no way she's gonna get to this space with white males and Black males, to save her fucking daughters, and no one's gonna kill her, right? She knows this, right? But at this point, she's like, listen, I'm going to either save her or I'm going to die trying. Fuck it, right? So she goes and she starts her what is it? She starts her journey to save her daughters. And she begins running, and what she does not know is that her whole army comes behind her. The males actually see her leaving, right? The male soldiers see her leaving to go save her daughters. And they go and they gather the rest of the soldiers, and Amenza knows that she's leaving, right? She lets Amenza know, I have to go. What I've been so afraid of, what I've been dreaming about is myself, right? And I've been afraid of myself. And basically what she symbolizes is, and here she is to face me, right? My daughter, here she is, my own self in my fucking face. And I'm not going to ignore her anymore. I'm not going to ignore her anymore. Right? I'm not going to shut up little me. I'm not going to let little me die. Right? And she says, I'm going to go save my fucking daughter. Saving my daughter is saving myself. Right? And if I can't save her, then we'll both die. Either we both live together or we both die together, or I'll die saving her, but I'm going to go and give it a fucking honest shot. Right? And I felt like that's where I'm at. And I really felt like that's where I'm at. Like, I truly feel like I have to give the maidens an honest shot, right? It's something that I said in private spaces. Like, if, and I got this from Dr. John Henry Clark when I studied Dr. John Henry Clark, right? One of the things that he said, if it takes 100 years, right, then if we start today, then we only got 99 more years to go, right? And when I decided to start doing Black women's work, that's what I decided, right? If I take care of myself, I'm 30, I'm in my mid 30s, right? If I take care of myself, right, I could live up until the old right age of 80, 90 years old, right? And if I did that work, right, and taking care of my brain too, y'all, be conscious of your brain health, for real. Be conscious of your physical health. Be conscious of your brain health. Black women, if if you're a crone and you're a mother and you are deciding in some kind of way to do Black women's work for the maidens, right? If you're a crone and you want to do some work for the mothers, take care of your brain health, right? Take care of your memory, right? Start eating better. Stop eating foods that kill your brain, especially to the crones. that's your offering. That's what you come to give the space, your brain, your logic, how you think, your wise counsel, right? Anyhow, so anyway, that's what she decides, right? That's what we're deciding in doing Black women's work. We're deciding that if it takes 99 years, if it takes 100 years, then we have to start today, right? And we meant it, and we're going to stand by it, we meant it, and we're going to stand by it, and we're not going to be consumed with money, because once money gets in the way of doing this kind of work, right, then you start doing it for another reason, right? And your initial reason was to save your daughters, right? Well, that's my initial reason, right? To save my own personal daughter and my ocean of daughters, right? And as crones come into my space, their intent is to look at me as their daughter, and and to be wise counsel to me. So anyway, she goes to save her daughters. Fuck your community. Fuck your kingdom. Fuck all of the homie. When it comes to my daughter, fuck all this shit. I'm out of here. And she goes, and then and she has the influence of the army, and they follow her into this village, into this village of white males, and into this village of a couple of white male slavers, but that tribe of apes. That, right, because during the war, she was not able to kill the one that raped her, right? He got away. They conceded and ran. They wrapped up a couple women and they ran, right? And they left. And then that's when she noticed that Ngozi wasn't there. She looked for Ngozi, and then she looked for Nawi, and she realized they weren't there. And those are her daughters. That's her work in this realm, right? Her work in this realm. Listen, Nanisca's work in this realm was Nawi, her physical womb's work, and then Ngozi, the daughter that she, adopted, right? And not necessarily adopted, but Ngozi, the daughter that she raised up, the daughter that she decided to do work for, and her real actual womb's work. Those are her daughters in the movie. And she looked for them high and low and could not find them. And one of the girls rolled off. And Nawi says, "Do you want to die?" Right? If you don't, because she wasn't tied up. She says, if you don't want to die, you need to roll off of here. Right? And she rolls off, and she's able to go back to tell them. She tells them that she didn't see Ngozi. And you can see that Nanisca's brokenhearted about this, right? That's her daughter. That's not her technical womb's work, but that's her daughter. You hear throughout the movie how Ngozi just truly reveres her. Right? And that's her baby. And then her actual baby, her actual womb's work. So this girl tells her that Nawi was the one who told her to jump off. And she's like, Nawi, right? Nanisca's like, Nawi, like, oh gosh, my baby is alive, right? And she dedicates, I'm going to go get my fucking daughters. Fuck your village. Fuck this community. When it comes to my daughters, I'm the fuck out, right? And these soldiers follow her, right? And they all go, and she gets there, and she sees women of her tribe, and she whispers to them as she kills, the white males that stand in guard. Because at this point, everybody dying, bitch. When they come to my daughter, everybody dying. Okay, I know I said, I know I be dick riding white males, but when it comes to my child, right? When it comes to my daughters, everybody could die. All right. So she gets there and she kills the white man with the standing guard, and she asks the girl, where is Ngozi and where is Nawi? She's literally looking for her daughters, right? She asks this, another one of her daughters, because she has an ocean of them. All of those women, she's the general, and all of those women that are serving under her are her daughters. That is her ocean of daughters, right? Oh, so beautiful, right? So she gets to one of her daughters and she asks where her favorites are. And she asks her what happened to Ngozi, and she asks us what happened to Nawi. And then she tells her that Nawi had been caught by the white male slave traders, and she tells her that Ngozi is dead. They killed her. And you see this rage wash over her face, and she literally says, kill everybody and burn it all down. There are no prisoners. We don't want any prisoners. Everybody's dying. They killed Ngozi, and in her mind, they captured Nawi. Everybody's dying for this crime. I'm not listening to nothing that nobody say. Everybody in this bitch is dead. That's what she tell him. That's what she tell him, and she means it. As due to the fact that they killed my daughter and they took another one captive, everybody here is dying. Don't ask no questions. Don't ask no fucking questions. Everybody here is dead, and then set this shit on fire. And she meant it, right? And they go and they killing everybody. Fuck it. They go, Amenza is, listen, their bodies in this movie. First of all, LaShawn Lynch is big, right? And Viola Davis is bigger, right? So they had these warrior bodies. They're real big women, not big as in fat, but big as in muscular. You can see all the muscles in them. But Amenza is tall and thin, but you can still see her muscles, right? But she's a giant. She's a tall woman. They just look so good. I don't look for me and dark and black women again here. I'm apologetic if this is triggering you, but they look so good to me. They look so good to me. That sound a little lesbiana, right? But I don't mean it in that way, right? They look like warriors. They looked fucking good, okay? They were big, and Amenza is tall and sleek. She's going through just killing niggas. She killing niggas. She killing the white boys. Look, everybody's getting it, okay? Everybody's getting it. For the death of her daughters, everybody is getting it, and I loved it. I loved it. So anyway, yeah, they start killing everybody, and what's her name? Nawi sees it. She looks down and she sees them killing everybody, and she says, "My sisters are here for me." White boy, half white boy, I'm sorry, but my sisters have come for me. I'm out of here. I thought your plan was a good plan when I thought I was on my own. when I thought I was on my own, white male's patriarchy sounded good, right? When I thought I was on my own and I could be protected by you and white male's patriarchy, I thought that was a good idea. But my sisters have come for me. And that's a better option. She said, I had to go fight with them. Right? And she goes and she joins her sisters in fighting. And she saves Amenza. She saves her mother again. This is the second time she saves her mother, right? And they end up warring together. They end up fighting side by side. And, they basically, kill all the men and free all their sister. They free all their sister. And she tells this, half white boy, and I like calling him half white. I like calling him half white because I just wanted to get into black women's brains that the only reason why he was worth a damn was because he was half white. Okay? And when I say he was half white, I mean the Y chromosome that he got was white, right? He was still the daughter. He was still the son of a black woman. Okay? Right? But anyway. She tells him, you need to get out of here. My sister's about to kill everything. My sister's about to kill everything. And scrawny white boy, you do not, well, he wasn't scrawny. He wasn't scrawny. But you don't stand a chance to get them. Get your ass out of here. So anyway, he is trying to leave. Okay, so they war and they kill everybody. Okay. And they free all the people that was about to be sold into slavery. And then they're leaving, right? The whole tribe, and she started yelling at the end this thing that they yell. And I felt the way when she yelled it, right? When Viola Davis yelled that fucking whatever the fuck that meant, right? I felt it. I liked it, right? And that was when knew that they did it, right? They killed everybody. We can go. And then she's leaving with her sister, right? Viola Davis gives her the freedom to choose, right? She sees her lock eyes with the half white boy. And, she allows her daughter the option to choose. Like, her daughter had to choose. She couldn't force her daughter to stay, right? Her daughter had to choose her sister, and she had to choose her mother, and she had to choose that, right? She couldn't force her to stay. If her daughter thought it was best for her to go and be with the, half white male and, live a life outside of their sisterhood, it was her choice. She wasn't going to guilt her about it. She wasn't going to say anything to her about it. It was her choice. And now we chose her sisters, right? She looked at the white boy and she smiled at him, and, she gave him that in the next lifetime smile. But in this lifetime, I'm choosing my sisters, right? I'm choosing to stay with my sisters, and I'm choosing to stay with my mother, and more importantly, right? And then, they go off into the sunset. They go off into the sunset, and basically they get back, and, Nanisca knew that she had betrayed the king. I didn't even mention that it was like the king had like another woman in his ear. Like, it was, look, somebody else, if you want to talk about that, comment about that in the fucking comments. Like, I didn't missed all that, and I'm not going back to it. But anyway, she gets there and she's like, I disobeyed the king, and I'm willing to give up my seat as the general. And basically, the good son, they died out though, y'all. Don't get happy. Don't get happy because I'm calling them a good son, because they died out. They don't exist no more. That bloodline of sons, they did. They did. The good son, he names her the woman king, and then he gives her honors. Gives her honors. And then at the end of the movie, they had this moment, and I thought this moment was glorious, and it was glorious for me because I had a baby by a statutory rapist, right? And I worried a lot. I worried a lot that, like, when, to be honest, right? I worried, when does her father come out of her? Right? And like when does his wicked ass come out of her? Like, it's there. But I later learned that whatever I had in me that I put in her was so good that it overpowered and it overshadowed whatever he put in her, right? So they had this moment at the end of the movie where basically now he is saying sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I caused you so much pain. Like, you had to live your life, in this kind of pain, due to me even being here on earth, right? And Nanisca looks at her, she said, it was never you. Like, she lets her daughter know, like, it was never you. And I literally have had this moment, like, where my daughter has literally apologized to me for when I'm getting emotional, right? Where she had looked and at my life and the life that I lived, and was apologetic for being here, right? Because she knew that a lot of the pain and a lot of the trauma that I, suffered from in life, was what got her here, right? And I've had to let my daughter know it's never been you personally. It's never been you. It was always him. It was never you. I was never mean. You know how women are mean to their daughters, due to their fathers, right? You look at your daughter's face and you see her father. I never was that kind of mother to her, right? I was never mean to her, even when I saw his traits, right? And I don't mean like his wickedness, like, sometimes he was very like goofy, and sometimes she showed, sometimes she did that, right? And even when I saw like him and her, like, I never took it out on her, right? I never harmed her in my hate and my disdain for him, right? And they had this moment where basically Naniska says that to her, like, it's never been you, right? You were not the worst thing that ever happened to me, right? What happened to me to get you here was, but you, my daughter, are the most glorious thing I've created in this realm. And I've learned that I'll say that privately, right? I'll say that I'll say that in a more private space, but because I don't, I've learned that the mothers of sons just feel a lot different, right? They feel a lot different about their womb's worth because they created a fucking useless spawn. But for us, even in us getting even in us, if you had a baby by a fucking ape, it was horrible. Listen, if you had a baby by ape, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. It was a fucking horrible experience. Any black woman that had a baby by ape, it was a fucking horrible experience. And if you had a daughter, there is some kind of glory still there, right? There's some kind of glory in still being the mother of a daughter, right? If the divinity in you is truly divine, it trickles down into her and it overpowers whatever is in him that is bad, right? And you have this divine daughter, right, that may have even come from a bad situation. She's still divine in her own right. And that was a moment that Naniska and her daughter shares, even though her daughter carried that guilt. And sometimes I have to remind my daughter, right? Because my daughter, she hears me talk. She hears me talk about how, being her mother and raising her in Blackistan was to my detriment, right? It's something I still am recovering from. Literally. I'm still recovering from that trauma. Daily. I'm still trying to figure out ways to recover from that. And when she sees me struggling with that, she's apologetic. And that was a moment that Nawi had with her mother, like, being apologetic. And and she got up guiltily, right? She got up and she ran away because she felt guilty. Like, my being here caused my mother so much pain, right? And she got up and she walked away guiltily. And after her mother let her know it's never been you, right? You're my work in this realm, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm proud of you, and she gets up and she walks away, with her guilt, and I know that my daughter, and sometimes she feels that, right? She feels that guilt of my mother had to give up her whole life, or not, her whole life up into this moment for me to be. And, she carries, I know that she carries, sometimes, she feels guilty about that, especially in the moments that I'm struggling, right? In the moments that I'm struggling and trying to fix my life and put it back together, and she's watching me as she gets to, live a life that only I could dream of, right? That I provided her this life that only I could have dreamt of, right? My daughter, she truly exists as a carefree, dark-skinned black woman, right? And I mean dark skin. She, as I didn't say that a million times, she lets me know like what dark skin is. Like, not the light dark skin, right? She exists as a carefree dark skinned black girl. When I'm mothering, right, my ocean of daughters, right? When I'm mothering my ocean of daughters and I see how they have lived their lives, and in some cases, some of them are younger than her, right? I meet black women that are younger than my daughter, and they are living life in a way that my daughter wouldn't even imagine, couldn't even imagine, right? And if she gets to live her carefree life, she knows that it costs me a lot to live it, right? And that I still struggle with it. And when she looks and she catches me struggling, right? Sometimes she just says, "I'm sorry, Ma," and I have to let her know, like, it's really not your fault. And I'm fucked up over this part, obviously. I know y'all hear me crying. Like, I'm really fucked up over this part because, that movie in general, it truly touched me. The relationship between Naniska and her daughter, it reminds me of my own, right? This you know, bearing a child out of such a horrible experience and having to live with it, and sometimes wanting to run away from it, right? There's been moments in raising my daughter I wanted to run away. I remember one time, and I'm gonna share this and I'm gonna go. I remember, and I tell this story candidly to anybody that wants to hear it. And my daughter, she remembers it. But I remember one time, and this was on the time where black women was just killing their children left and right. And in my city, a black woman had a couple of children in her car in her van, and she drove off a fucking cliff. And my daughter at this time, she was maybe about nine, right? Because this was during the summer before my mother transitioned. And she was like 9, and I had my daughter was in the 4th grade, so she was 9, 8 or 9. And I had asked my aunt Pickney, right, to take my daughter for the summer. Like, I really pled. I really pled. I was like, I just need a break, right? And I just let her know, like, I really need a break. This is too much for me right now, and I just need a break. And she brushed me off, and I looked her right in the face. I said, this is the moment that you remember when a black woman drives her children off a cliff, right? It's these moments that the black community remembers when black women who are struggling drive their children off a cliff. You'll remember, like, basically I was telling her when I kill myself and my daughter, right? You will remember this moment that I asked you for help, that I begged and I pled for help. But Aunt Pickney, and it wasn't her sacrifice to raise to take my daughter, right? It wasn't her sacrifice, and she did not have to sacrifice. So my mother was also there, right? And my mother heard this, right? My mother heard this cry. And at this time I was working 16-hour shifts, right? And I picked up food on my way home from work. This is going to sound cruel, but it's what happened, right? I'm being transparent, right? And I picked up food for myself on my way home from work. And I had a girlfriend, and my daughter, she pointed this out to me later, right? And I didn't even think of it like this, but she gets bigger and she's wiser and she's brilliant and she's magnificent, y'all. But anyway, she pointed this out later. I didn't even realize this. I was going home, and I had my best friend at the time. She was staying with me, and my best friend, she had 9 children. She didn't have 9 at this time. She had like 3 or 4 or 5, right? And I had got food for me and her, and the kids had ate whatever was in the house, right? And in the ghetto, y'all, this is what the fuck happened. But this is not how I raised my daughter, right? This is not how I raised my daughter. And my daughter called me out on it once she got big, once she's been grown. So they ate what was in the house. I don't know, probably some fucking oodles and noodles, y'all. I gotta be honest. Some fucking oodles and noodles and hot dogs. The kids ate. And I had picked me and her up something on my way home from work. And when I got home, my daughter wanted some of my food, right? And my daughter told me, she was used to, because it's different when it's just me and her, right? If it's just me and her, I would have got her food, or we would have split my food. But because my friend at the time was there, I couldn't share my food with her, right? Because it would have been unfair. Right? So I yelled at her like, no, I'm not giving you no food, right? But she'd already ate oodles and noodles, y'all. The kids had already ate oodles and noodles. And I was doing this differently because my friend at the time was there. This is not how I usually carry things in my home, right? If I ate something, my daughter ate the same thing. But because my friend was there with all of her children, I couldn't do that, right? It would be unfair for me to treat my daughter differently with her children there, right? So my daughter just spazzes because, she's spoiled enough to know that, look, like, we don't usually do this, right? And I yelled at her and I said, if you act like this, I'm gonna, I said it. It was done, right? I said, I'm gonna kill you, right? I'm gonna kill you if you act like this, right? And it was because I had just now got home from work, and she was acting how she wanted to act, but it was too much. Life was just too much, right? In general, life had become too much, right? And she snuck inside of the room and she called her grandmother and she whispered, and my mother used to make jokes about this all the time. Like, she said, Mama, my mother says she's gonna kill me. But just a couple days ago, my mother had heard this cry, right? She'd heard this cry. So my mother took it very seriously. This was maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning. And my mother came and got her granddaughter. Like, look, I don't know what the fuck going on with you. But I'm gonna come get my granddaughter because, I'm not gonna take your warning lightly. And I'm not gonna take the fact that you may have been, just angry when you said it, but you just now told my granddaughter that she was gonna kill her, and you just now hinted a couple days ago that some justification in how black women kill their children. And my mother came and got her granddaughter that fucking night. That night. As a matter of fact, she didn't even come and get her. She sent her son, who she did not let her drive her car, right? She didn't let my brother drive her car because, he was a fucking son. But that night, she told him, listen, go and get your niece because your sister's over there losing her fucking mind, right? And my daughter ended up staying with my mother that whole summer, and it was a wonderful summer for her, right? She brings it up all the time, and she kind of threw it up in my face. She threw it up in my face. She would leave daycare. She was in a summer program. We was poor, so they had all those fucking programs for kids to go to basically babysit your children in the fucking summertime. And she was going to a summer program, but she had to walk past my apartment to get to my mother's, right? And she would walk, and she wouldn't even stop and say hi, ma, nothing, right? She was living with her grandmother. She was living the life that she deserved, and she would let me know, like my mom was cooking her dinner every night. My mom was taking very good care of her during that time. And I got on this story just to share like some of the strenuous moments in raising my daughter, some of the moments that she's had to forgive me for, some of the moments where I had to be vulnerable and I had to just, let her know something. Sometimes, it was really rough for me, right? And that was one of the times. I really needed a break, and my mother, she was the crone, and she came in and she saved her granddaughter. Not that I don't think I would have really killed her, right? I don't think I would have really, ran us off of a cliff. But the fact that she was able to see that cry for help, and she came in and she, helped. And I just said that to just give you an example of sometimes it was not easy, right? And my daughter, she's big now and she's grown, and she looks back on, that didn't happen often, but it happened, right? And she knows now, like, and sometimes she'll tell me as she's living her life, and she'll do the years, like she'll add them up, and she'll be like, I can't believe that you had a 4-year-old daughter at this time in your life. She'll look at me and she'll just let me know, I could not imagine my life. The life that you provided, the life that you sacrificed yourself for me to have, I couldn't imagine living your life. Like I couldn't imagine. Like she was a very good studier, and she looked at me one time and she said, "You used to study with a child climbing on your head, right?" Because I'd have my niece, and my niece would be in her room while she trying to study, and she'd be like, "This was your life?" And I'd learn, no, girl, I didn't do that much studying. I didn't do that. I didn't get the luxury of studying, girl. I got through high school by the skin of my teeth. Like, really, got through high school by the skin of my teeth. I was mothering. But anyhow, that moment at the end of the movie was the moment that they shared that I truly identify with. I identify with that relationship all throughout the movie. It was the only love story that matters. It was the only love story that matters in life. In life, the story in our lives as Black women, the love story between a mother and a daughter, and the love story between Black women and each other, and the love story between a sisterhood is the only one that matters. We are a matriarchal society, and we still are. The mothers, we still are. We still have that in us, right? We still want to be around each other. Black women. I just now saw something that I meant to share in my Discord where it was Black women just wanting to be around each other, and I found it like so funny how they couldn't they couldn't stay away from each other. Like I found it so funny, like this, how we really want to be with each other all the fucking time. Like that's how we exist. Like, you know, if we marry, like husband, you gotta, and white males won't mind. Listen, y'all, we gotta hit on out. You know, I know I'm dick riding white males. See, apes are too fucking needy. You can't even build a sisterhood in a relationship with an ape because they get jealous of your friendships, right? But white males, and what I've learned in dating them and still maintaining friendships, and even in seeing white males now and doing black women's work, and I let them know, like, I can't, like, with, like, if you know, if he wants to go out or he wants to be together and I have black women's work to do, I let him know, like, I got work to do with my sister and I can't. You know, and oh, y'all, the Norwegian has popped back up. And he would make jokes about it, right? He would say, "Oh yeah, you know, she has to see her coven. Yes, I have to be with my coven. You know, I can't be with you tonight. I have to be with my coven, right?" And he would be understanding, right? Um, and make jokes about being a century. And I never knew what a century was, right? I never knew what a century was, but he would make jokes about, you know, being a century. As you know, as a matter of fact, you know, I got black women's work to do this evening, and he wanted to link, and I had to let him know, like, no, I got to meet with my coven. I got to meet with my coven. He said, I'll stand at the gate and be the century. So yeah, in dating white males, y'all, sometimes you are able to keep those relationships with black women, with your sisters, because he doesn't get jealous about it, right? Anyhow, I've taken up 2 hours of your time this Sunday, right? I'm about to post this video. It should be coming up in the afternoon time, right? Um, you know, I went through the whole movie. I think if I missed anything, if y'all want to discuss anything, you can put it in the comments. If I missed something, you know, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. I love you ladies, like, dearly, dearly. If you made it to the end, you finally got to that part. Like, yeah, I love you ladies dearly, you know. I truly do. I truly love black women, and I truly understood the meaning behind this movie. I truly understood the message that was trying to be sent out by Viola Davis. And the woman that created the movie was a black woman. I truly understand what they were trying to get out, and I'm happy that the movie did well. I'm happy that the movie did better than expected, because, you know, them apes was online saying black women don't go see it, and black women was like, okay, Zaddy, I'm not gonna go see it, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? But black women did not want to look like they were portraying black males, because this movie really put the blame on who the fuck is on. It wasn't even enough white males in the movie for black women to even war with. It wasn't even enough white males in the movie. Listen, this was truly about black women warring with them fucking dirty ass apes. And black males don't really want to see that. Black males don't really want to see that. I've heard in some spaces that white males really didn't either. that males in general really don't want to see black women truly who we are, right? Reigning supreme in this realm as we should. But you know, that movie was just an ode to us, and I appreciated it and I loved it. And I may have some critiques of it, but I can't think of it right now. So y'all can critique it in the comments. We can talk about the critiques. I know that a lot of black women hated the fact that it was a partial, I wouldn't call it a love scene, or, you know, but romantic. I don't really consider it a romantic scene, other than the fact to convey that, you know, the best of black males, you know, y'all want to call them black with the one drop rule, are going to be mixed. Are going to be mixed, and I really didn't see it as a real romantic scene, right? I saw it as an example of how, you know, that Y chromosome with the white males is totally different. And I think that was something that black women had to see, and I appreciate the women who did this work showing it in that way. I feel bad. I think that Viola Davis does her work in this realm, but she is married to a black male. And the woman that made the movie is married to a black male, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad for black women married to black men. Like, I do. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, unless he like really a servant to Viola Davis, like he just at her feet doing what she want him to do, you know, you know, that's all he could be there for. I mean, like truly. Um, it was another black woman that I was thinking about that married. Oh, Lashana Lynch, she married a white man, right? Apes got mad about that. Apes got mad about. Maybe if Viola Davis could go back and do it all again, she probably would have married a white man. You know, sometimes the crones they get, you know, they get older and they think they stuck. So she probably would have married, or maybe he really is of service, right? I don't wanna slight Viola Davis. So maybe he really is of service to her. But anyway, y'all, I gotta go. Love you, ladies. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. And that's all I got. That's my 2 hour commentary on the Woman King. I done took up all your fucking afternoon, sis.